Home renters in Scotland should know that the country's emergency rent freeze brought in during the pandemic has come to an end. Under emergency legislation brought in 2022, the government stipulated that no landlord could raise rent prices of their private properties by more than either 3 or 6% in 1 year. The Cost of Living, Tenant Protection, Scotland, Act 2022 aimed to alleviate financial pressures for tenants at a time when the country's cost of living crisis was at its worst. However, as of April these safeguards are no longer being enforced, meaning landlords can once again raise rental prices by what they see fit. In addition, a ban which allowed certain housing evictions to be delayed has also come to an end. However, this does not mean that tenants cannot challenge rent raises they believe to be unfair. While the rent cap has been lifted, there are also certain criteria that landlords must work within. Here is what you should know as Scotland's 3% rent freeze comes to an end, including how to challenge an unfair increase, according to housing charity Shelter. How much can my rent be increased by? When you challenge an increase, a rent officer or tribunal will calculate the maximum rent increase for your tenancy. The maximum possible increase landlords can raise rent by is either 6 or 12%, but in many cases it will be lower than this. The increase that's allowed depends on the percentage gap between your current rent and the market value of your home, based on current rents for similar homes in your area. If the gap is 6% or less, your rent can be increased up to the market value. If the gap is more than this, the increase will be calculated using a formula that keeps your rent under the market value. This can be up to a maximum of 12%. According to Shelter, calculating how much the increase is allowed can be complicated, so it's best to challenge it if you can. Can I challenge my rent if I'm not on a private tenancy agreement? If you are not signed on to a private tenancy agreement with your landlord, you cannot challenge your rent increase, as this is one of the requirements for the process. Challenging a rent increase in private tenancies. There's a new process to challenge a rent increase if you think it's too high. Your landlord must give you a valid rent increase notice. You can challenge a rent increase if you have a private residential tenancy, including mid-market rents and assured tenancy or short assured tenancy, unless your contract includes rules about rent increases. If you're not sure what type of tenancy you have, use Shelter's Tenancy Checker. Join the Daily Record WhatsApp community. Get the latest news sent straight to your messages by joining our WhatsApp community today. You'll receive daily updates on breaking news as well as the top headlines across Scotland. No one will be able to see who is signed up and no one can send messages except the Daily Record team. All you have to do is click here. If you're on mobile, select Join Community and you're in. If you're on a desktop, simply scan the QR code above with your phone and click Join Community. We also treat our community members to special offers, promotions, and adverts from us and our partners. If you don't like our community, you can check out anytime you like. To leave our community, click on the name at the top of your screen and choose Exit Group. If you're curious, you can read our privacy notice. How to challenge a private rental increase. The process to challenge a rent increase depends on your tenancy type. If you have a private residential tenancy, apply to Rent Service Scotland here. Or, if you have an assured or short assured tenancy, you can apply to the First Tier Tribunal, Housing and Property Chamber, by downloading and completing this form. The eviction ban in Scotland has ended. The eviction ban ended on March 31, 2024, which delayed evictions in certain circumstances. During the ban, your landlord could still send you a valid eviction notice. Get an eviction order from a court or tribunal. If the court or tribunal granted an eviction order, it would include the date when your landlord can use it to evict you, which must have been after March 31, 2024. The ban did not apply if you lived with your landlord but did if you rented from a private landlord or letting agency, the council or a housing association, college or university halls or purpose-built student accommodation. If your landlord wants to evict you, they must still follow a strict process. If you need help to prevent or delay an eviction, you can contact a Shelter Scotland advisor for advice or read more on Shelter's advice on eviction here. Don't miss the latest news from around Scotland and beyond. Sign up to our daily